Hi Year 4 and welcome to Monday afternoon's science lesson. Today we're continuing our topic about sound and we're going to be thinking about why we hear echoes as well as reviewing everything we've been learning about sound over the last few weeks. So last lesson with Miss Whitehouse on Thursday and Friday actually, you were thinking about how sounds can be different because not all sounds are the same, are they? And you thought about two key words that could change the way sound is. So you were thinking about two technical words that described how sounds could be different. Why don't you pause the video now and see if you can think back to Miss Whitehouse's lessons on Thursday and Friday last week and think about what you were talking about in those lessons. Okay, so hopefully you remembered that the two words we discussed last week were pitch and volume. So let's think about those in a bit more detail. So pitch can be high or low. When we hear high sounds, that's ones that sound kind of squeakier and a bit more like this. That means that the sound waves that are being made by those vibrations are quite tight and quite close together. So they're quite small and they're quite tight. And that's what makes the sound quite high up, like a bird tweeting or a mouse squeaking or something like that. And when the pitch is low, and it sounds a bit more growly like a bear, that means that the sound waves are looser and slower. So these ones are going faster and tighter, and these ones are going looser and slower. Okay. And the other way we talked about sound being different is in terms of volume. And when we talk about volume with sound, what we mean is this volume loud like this, or is it quiet like this? And when it's loud, what that means is the vibrations are really strong, big vibrations. And when it's quiet, the vibrations are not so strong. They are weaker vibrations, okay? So that's what makes the sound different in terms of volume and in terms of pitch. We're going to be using these terms a little bit more later in the lesson. So make sure if you're not sure what those mean, either stop the video here and re-listen to it, or go back to the videos from last week and recap those so that you're sure what those mean. So thinking more deeply then, we know that sound is vibrations. Sound is vibrations in materials, different types of materials. And last term, when we were learning about materials, we knew that materials could be solids, liquids, or gases. Can sound travel through all of those materials? We know it can travel through air because that's how sound waves get to our ears, but can sound travel through solids and liquids as well? Well, there's a fun way you can try this in terms of liquids at home actually. If you, next time you're having a bath, put your head under the water and then try and make a sound with your fingers or bash two things together under the water, you will find that you can hear the vibrations even though they're travelling through the water. You can also do it with solids as well. If you put your head down on, if you use like a tube, a cardboard tube, you can put that onto a table and get somebody in your family to hit it with a wooden spoon, and you'll find that those vibrations travel through the table and up into your ear. Okay, so solids sound can travel through all different types of materials. And in fact, if we think about why this is, we can think about it's actually the particles in the material that are causing the vibration. And in a solid, we know that those particles are very closely packed together, don't we? They're arranged really neatly in a solid. And so they're quite close together. So it's easy for those vibrations to pass through them. Same in a liquid, we know that the particles in a liquid are not quite as tightly packed as in a solid, but they can flow over each other, a bit like the balls in a ball pit at Monkey Business or somewhere like that. And again, if you try that experiment in the bath, you'll be able to hear that the sound vibrations can travel through that liquid. And we know that when we hear sounds just with our ears normally, that is because there are vibrations passing through the air particles all around us. So we're going to start today's lesson with a mystery sound quiz. Your job is to listen to the sounds and to describe them. So we're going to describe the volume, whether it's quiet or very loud. And we're going to describe the pitch, whether it's high or very low. Okay, so we're going to describe volume and pitch. And then, as an extra challenge, can you recognise the sound? Do you know what's making that sound? Okay, let's have a little look and see if we can guess what this first mystery sound, the purple sound. Listen carefully. What do you think that first sound was? Can you describe that first sound? Was it quiet or was it loud? Was it high or was it low? Okay, think carefully about what that sound sounded like. So I thought that sound was quiet and really quite high. So quiet and high. And did you recognise that sound? Mystery sound, purple mystery sound was an owl. Right, let's have a think about mystery sound number 2, the green sound. So remember, you're thinking about volume and you're thinking about pitch and you're thinking about, do you recognise that sound? What do you think it is? What was mystery sound number 2, the green sound? Was the volume quiet or loud? Was the pitch high or low? I think that one was quite difficult. I thought it sounded quite loud, but I guess it was somewhere between medium, low and high pitch. I think it was like medium pitch. And did you guess what it was? That was actually, dun, 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 somebody cutting some paper. That was the sound in that one. Okay, are you ready for sound number 3, the yellow mystery sound? Remember to listen carefully for the volume and for the pitch. So this sound, what did you think? I thought it sounded really quite low pitched. It sounded a bit more like this. It sounded like those vibrations were low, slower and further apart, looser. And it was quite a quiet sound, wasn't it? So the volume was quiet and the sound was low. I wonder if you guessed what that sound was. It was a cat purring. I think they must have been quite close up to the cat to hear that, because usually you don't hear that unless you're really close up to it, do you? Okay, are you ready for mystery sound number 4, the red sound? Listen carefully. Okay, so hopefully you listen carefully to that sound. That was definitely quite a loud sound. The volume of that was quite big, wasn't it? The vibrations were quite strong vibrations and it sounded quite loud. What about the pitch of that? Was it high or was it quite low? I think I thought that was quite low pitched as well. So it's kind of loud and low pitched. Did you guess what it was? Ta-da! It was actually a lawnmower. So I don't know if you guessed that, but if you did, well done. So in today's lesson, we're going to be thinking more about what is an echo And I just wanted to first of all clarify what an echo was by playing you this video of one so that you know what it is. So let's just go over to this video quickly. So when we're talking about echoes, what we mean is that it's a repeated sound. So that in that video, the person only said hey once, but we heard it lots and lots of times after that, didn't we? It was repeated many times after that. So an echo is a repeated sound. But listen carefully, we're going to listen to the video clip again. Listen carefully to the repeats of the sound. Is the repeat of the sound the same in every way in terms of pitch and in terms of volume as the first sound? Listen carefully. What do you think? I think when you listen carefully, you can hear that the repeated sounds are sort of the same, and some things are the same about them, but other things are different. So I thought the obvious thing was it sounds the same, but the repeated sounds are quieter, aren't they? The first sound is definitely the loudest one. So we can tell that echoes have the same pitch, they sound exactly the same, but a quieter volume. Okay, and I don't know if you've ever played that game with people at home where you repeat back to them exactly what they've just said to you. It's a very annoying game, so don't play it if you haven't. But that's a bit like being an echo, isn't it? People say you're being a little echo. You're saying everything that I'm saying back to me, back to me, back to me. And that's what an echo does. It repeats those sounds and plays them back to you. So what actually makes us hear an echo? What is that repeated vibration? Where is that vibration coming from? We know that when we hear sound, it comes from something vibrating. In the picture, we've got a guitar string vibrating. And when the guitar string starts vibrating, the molecules in the, or the particles in the air around the guitar string start vibrating as well. And then the vibration is passed from particle to particle to particle to particle as a sound wave until it hits our ear. And then the vibration passes down our ear canal onto our eardrum, and a message is sent to our brain that says we've heard a sound. So where is that repeated vibration coming from? Because in that video, we saw that the person, or we heard that the person only really said hey once. So where are all those other vibrations coming from? And I thought we'd stop there and just think about if you've ever heard an echo before. If you have, think about where you were when you heard that echo. Maybe you were in a tunnel, like in the video that we watched. Maybe you were in like an underground garage, you know, those big multi-story car parky type things. Maybe you were in a big hall or church or mosque with lots of big high ceilings. Maybe you were under a bridge. Bonus point if you can recognise the bridge from our immigration topic. So maybe you were underneath a bridge like that. Maybe you were going under an underpass, like a pedestrian underpass under a road or a roundabout or something. Or maybe you were next to some tall buildings. Pause the video now and just think about where you might have heard an echo and what all of these places have got in common. Okay, so in all of these places, there are some really big, hard surfaces or solid objects, and those give us a really big clue about why we hear echoes. So if you look here, we've got the solid roof of the tunnel, we've got the solid roof of the bridge and the underpass. In a garage, there's a really solid floor and really solid walls and ceiling. In a big hall or mosque or church, There are really big high ceilings, hard surfaces everywhere. And in this picture, there are these big concrete buildings, which are all kind of quite hard surfaces around the place. And those all give us a clue about why we hear echoes. So this is what happens when you hear an echo. Imagine this person is saying, hey, saying, hey. Here we are, there's a little speech bubble. He's saying, hey. And when he says that, the vocal cords in his neck vibrate, and that sends a vibration through the air. And here are the vibrations, these blue lines, which are traveling through the air in all directions from his shout. Okay, travel, 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 off they go. They're vibrating the particles next to them, vibrating the particles next to them, and then, oh, they're not vibrating air particles anymore. Instead, they've hit this hard, solid surface, this wall, this brick wall, just like in some of those pictures we saw. And when those vibrations hit the brick wall vibrates. And some of those vibrations carry on through the brick wall, like this. But some of them, because the object is vibrating, send some vibrations back the other way. And we get these sort of not quite as big vibrations, smaller, more gentle vibrations, so weaker vibrations, start coming back this way. And they pass on from particle to particle, from particle to particle, from particle to particle, until they come over here and they reach our ears again. And that is what we hear when we hear an echo. We hear those vibrations coming back to us from when they've hit a solid object. Isn't that amazing? So an echo is actually the same sound, again, the same vibrations being sent back to us from a solid surface. Because when the original vibrations hit the solid surface, that vibrates and that sends vibrations back to us. Let's watch this video about which shows a little bit more how this happens in practice. And if you watch really closely, it's a man playing a trumpet. So if you watch really closely, sometimes when you can hear sound, the trumpet is not very near to his mouth. So he's definitely not making that sound himself. You can see that the sound is coming back from the cliff opposite. So watch closely. So I hope you enjoyed that. It was quite funny, wasn't it, seeing the man playing the trumpet like that. So when he played the trumpet, if you imagine these purple lines now are those sound waves, those loud vibrations, and some of them were quite high as well, weren't they? Quite high in pitch. And those vibrations were traveling across the canyon until they hit those huge cliff walls opposite. And then when they hit those, there was such a solid object that all of those vibrations were bounced back this way. And so you could hear them. And it's really amazing. So have a think, where could you go? Where could you go where there's a big solid surface where you could try to make an echo? have a think, maybe in a garage or something that you know. Maybe you live near some tall buildings, some like blocks of flat or something where you might be able to, if you shouted, you would hear your echo back. Maybe you could go to a bridge or an underpass, or maybe even in your home, sometimes in bathrooms, because we tend to have lots of tiles and things in bathrooms, lots of hard things. Maybe in your bathroom you could try and make an echo at home. Okay, so we're going to move on to your assignments now. Today's lesson has been really bringing together everything that you have learned so far in this unit about sound. And tomorrow we're going to be making an information poster about what you know about sound. So I thought today for your assignment, you could do a quick quiz on sound to see what you have remembered. The quiz is an assignment. You just go into it, same as you do for the Skillsharp that you've been doing every day for us. The questions are written out like this. I have tried to add a picture with the communicate and print on as well, so that everybody can do this quiz, where it says, so this one says, why can't the astronaut hear the sound on the moon? And then there's 1, 2, 3. These are options 1, 2, and 3. So if you're using the communicate and print and you read this one and you think it's number 2, you would choose the number 2 button down here and select that one. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Enjoy the quiz. I look forward to seeing how well you've done on it. And I'll see you tomorrow for our science lesson. Bye.